So could RIMPAC have a significant impact on U.S.-China relations and foster greater cooperation between the two nations? Joining us from New York with some perspective is Jan Berris. She's Vice President of the National Committee on United States-China Relations. Jan, always a pleasure. You've had a lot of experience working to improve diplomatic ties between the U.S. and China, and we've heard for years now that diplomats saying that China wants respect on the world stage. In that light, what impact does RIMPAC provide with this relationship?
I think the mere fact that China is participating militarily, because this is a military exercise overall, but also in many other ways. I think it was mentioned in the previous piece that China has a hospital ship that is participating in RIMPAC. This is the first time not only that China has participated in these exercises, but it's the first time that hospital ships have been part of it. So both China has the Peace Ark, as you mentioned, and the United States has Mercy. And these are the only two countries out of the 22 or 23 that are participating in RIMPAC that do have hospital ships. And already I know there have been medical conferences on board both the American and the Chinese ships. And these give everyone involved the opportunity to learn from each other, to show off the equipment that they have, the technologies they have, the capabilities they have. And I think it commands respect from everyone.
Well, let's take it a step further, because you brought up the Peace Ark. Thinking ahead to the next humanitarian disaster, what would it mean for China to play a leading role in a response, perhaps?
I think it would mean an enormous amount for China. It wants to show the world that it is trying to have its rise be a peaceful one. And so participation in humanitarian events, wherever they may be, is really important for China, as it is for countries all over the world.
RIMPAC is organized by a group called the Combined Task Force. The U.S. leads it, of course, but other countries are also involved. And I want to talk about the significance of that, because China, despite the tensions, is participating in this not just with the United States, but also Japan, and we know that there's been some friction there. What does this do to kind of resolve some of that, or help in that regard?
I think it has an enormous impact, and I think just the presence of China, as you say, there have been tensions between China and Japan. There's been tensions over the past couple months between China and the United States. It's not as smooth a relationship as we all might wish. And traditionally, the military-to-military link between our two countries has been the weakest. If there's been an issue in the relationship, something that's got nothing at all to do with military issues, it could be an entirely different sphere, it's the mill-mill relationship that is first impacted. It's the one that has people immediately turn to the mill-mill relationship and cancel something if things are going wrong in another aspect of the relationship. So that's why I find it so heartening that that has not happened, that despite the fact that the overall relationship is not as smooth as we may wish, China has showed up. China has showed up in large force. Other than the U.S. contingent, China has the largest contingent there. Well, and that's saying a lot.
It is. And Jan, we've run out of time, but thanks so much for joining us from New York. Certainly appreciate it.